Now the latest number of confirmed coronavirus cases here in the United States rising past the 500,000 mark, with more than 20,000 deaths. Both numbers the most in the world, but it is important to consider the size of our country compared to some of the other hard-hit ones. Dr. Anthony Fauci saying a, quote, rolling reentry back to normal could begin next month. And in New York, deaths remain high while the governor says there is evidence that the curve is indeed beginning to flatten. Let's go to Tom Yamas, who's outside the Navy ship Comfort there in New York City with more. Good morning, Tom.
Robin, good morning to you. When you speak to doctors across New York City, some say they do see a slowdown in patients. Others say they still are feeling that surge. Governor Andrew Cuomo says we all have to be cautiously optimistic. This as we're tracking news out of China this morning. China now reporting a troubling trend, a high number of new cases now emerging.
This morning, promising news New Yorkers have waited weeks for. Governor Andrew Cuomo signaling the state is finally flattening the curve. The rate of people going to hospitals dropping, but the crisis far from over. Coronavirus killing nearly 800 people a day here. Cuomo calling it a horrific rate.
758 people lost their lives in a 24-hour period. I speak to many families who are going through this, many people who lost loved ones.
As New York tries to get a handle on the deadly virus, other hot zones near New York are emerging. In Massachusetts, the number of confirmed cases soaring by 21% over 2 days. In Pennsylvania, the governor predicting a surge this week after more than 2,800 new cases were reported on Saturday.
If we begin to slip in our efforts to distance ourselves socially, we could very easily see explosive growth rates.
News like that is one reason health experts don't want to reopen the country too quickly. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, advocating a possible rolling reentry.
We are hoping that at the end of the month we can safely and cautiously start pulling back on. If so, do it. If not, then just continue to hunker down.
Because right now the virus is still claiming lives across the country. More than 20,000 in the U.S. alone. People like 36-year-old Louisiana police officer Kjuan Bates, Sister Marie June Skender, a Catholic nun from Wisconsin, and Dr. Nat Bertley, Flint, Michigan's first black school superintendent.
He was a wonderful man. He was a leader. He was a caregiver.
But this morning, there are also stories of hope. Dr. Hala Akbarnia, an ER doctor in Chicago, treating COVID-19 patients, writing an op-ed in the LA Times about a patient she calls Mr. C, describing how she had to intubate him, how he fought the virus for more than 12 days, but eventually won that battle.
It's probably their worst day, and you're putting your trust in us.
And the front line now getting new and much-needed support. Early graduates like medical student Dr. Rebecca Noonan from Hofstra.
I don't think that there's ever been such a need for help, and so I know that I'll be going in and helping patients.
As reinforcements enter hospitals across the country, the government trying to rehab an economy infected by the virus. Nearly 17 million filing for unemployment in the past 3 weeks alone. Over the Easter weekend, thousands waiting at food banks in Los Angeles and San Antonio for hours. But now word, some of those stimulus checks have started to hit bank accounts.
Boy, was I delighted to see $1,200+ that I was able to, get the check in the mail and my rent is paid.
And that is great news. Some are receiving those stimulus checks already. Now, as for China, the country is now reporting its highest number of new cases in more than 6 weeks. So what's going on? China claims these are all citizens that are flying back to China from places that have outbreaks right now, like Russia. We're going to have to monitor this news, George. It's so important. But right now, we're talking about 100 new cases each day. George?
Yeah, we've seen that in other hotspots as well, Tom. Okay, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.